The financial fraud case against Donald Trump entering a dramatic new chapter. The former president exploding on the witness stand, pushing back against accusations he, his sons, and his namesake company artificially boosted his assets to get better deals from banks and lenders.
See what a scam this is? This is a case that should have never been brought. It's a case that should be dismissed immediately.
Those familiar lines from the former president in the courtroom hallways brought to life on the witness stand, with Mr. Trump unleashing on the judge, seated inches away, pointing and yelling, "He called me a fraud and he didn't know anything about me." A clear reference to the judge's pretrial decision, ruling in the state's favor, finding Mr. Trump liable for fraud. The judge losing patience Monday, seemingly exasperated by what he characterized as Mr. Trump's rambling answers, warning the Republican frontrunner this is not a political rally. At one point, the back and forth between the two men growing so contentious, the judge suggested he might kick Mr. Trump off the witness stand entirely because of his refusal to answer the state's questions without long speeches. But he stayed put, and the state marched through year after year of financial statements, asking if he saw one from 2021. Mr. Trump said, quote, "I was so busy in the White House," saying he was focused on China and Russia. Seconds later, forced to admit he wasn't president at the time.
At the end of the day, the only thing that matters are the facts and the numbers. And numbers, my friends, don't lie.
So a lot to get to, obviously, with this, right?
Well, Laura, you had a front seat. Well, I don't know if it was a front seat, but you were inside that courtroom. To say this is not the normal trial situation is an understatement.
Almost from the very moment that he entered the courtroom, a hush fell over the room. It was so tense. And right away, he's giving long speeches and answers, and the judge interrupts him and says, "Stop. We don't need any speeches." He's turning to Mr. Trump's attorneys. "Maybe you need to control your client. Maybe you need to take a break." And it just devolved from there. The judge screaming at Mr. Trump's attorneys, "Sit down. I don't want to hear it. No, no, no." The judge then eventually does take a break. And after he came back from the break, he was a lot more measured. He allowed the former president a lot more leeway in his testimony. And I think the state was enjoying that because he sort of dug himself into some holes on some of that testimony.
So what do you think happened? I mean, it's just speculation, but I mean, do you think this was partly a strategy? I mean, the judge is the finder of fact. The judge is the one who's deciding everything in this case. Do you think it was the former president's strategy to rile up the judge and try to set up an appeal? "Oh, this judge is biased. Look at this, what this judge said to me."
It must be the strategy. You never see a defendant seated so close to the judge screaming at a judge. Normally, everyone's so solicitous to the judge. They want to make sure the judge is on their side. So it must be the case that they're trying to lay the groundwork for the appeal, and they think the best way to do it is to get the judge to trip up, make some mistake that could be some hook for an appeal. And the judge clearly, again, I think changing his tone once he realized things had gone off the rails.
It's just crazy that you have two grown men in a courtroom screaming at each other. Let's just call it what it is. That's just nuts. What about on substance? I mean, did the former president score any points for his side? Did the prosecution score any points?
It was so hard to pin him down, even when he's asked about things like financial statements, which he signed, the letters to the insurers. He says, "I don't know. I probably saw it. I hope it was accurate." So he's so squirrely on that stuff. But really, at the end of the day, Savannah, this is about credibility. And to get on the stand and say he was busy with Russia and China in 2021 when he wasn't even president, I think that's the part that's going to be a real uphill battle for him with this judge who's determining the penalty.
Okay, Laura, we'll keep watching. Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.